Who's that in the
Can you hear
background
me?
there?
That's Dave.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I wasn't talking about Dave. I was talking about the dog.
Oh, the dogs are even cooler. Hold on. This one is
Yeah.
Clark.
Oh, hello. This is my work table. It looks very messy, and that's because I can. Our doors are closed. So it's my
Looks
work
very
table.
inspiring. It doesn't look messy.
There's
It's
about 10 things.
inspiring. Like, can you share with me your story? Like, tell me your background and, like, tell me about Delvene.
I'm Delvene Cockatoo-Collins, and I live here on Manduraba. This is my home. My family's been here forever. I'm a mum to 3 boys.
I've come to your studio as well, and you've got some beautiful, you've got a particular style to how you do your work. Are you able to maybe share with us where that style is inspired from?
So in my work, a lot of it's through my lived experience with my family or my mum's story. So I'm not really telling any traditional stories at all through my work, but it's me trying to make sense of, you know, that moment or what's happened for mum, the writings of my grandmother. In one of my grandmother's writings, she talked about weaving as fine as lace. And so I feel that has influenced what the final piece looks like. So when people come in and say, oh, that looks like, you know, fine piece of lace, it's meant to echo the words of my grandmother.
Tell me about your mom. I'd love to learn, like, tell me her story, and like, it seems just so much inspiration from the work that you do. Can you share a little bit better?
So she was born here on the island, and where she grew up, it was in a time there was no electricity. You know, people say, what is it about your mother that's so special? And she just loved us. You know, she did everything to make sure that we knew we were loved. She gave me a sense of belonging here, gave me a sense of independence, and she did some amazing things, and she doesn't really talk about it. And so right now she's not well, and I have to stay away from her. So I'm finding it quite challenging to not be around my mum. But my daily goal is to have a cup of tea with her. So I'm trying to work out personally, what do I need to do to make sure I catch up with her, because it's not over a physical cup of tea. But I'm thinking I could sit down the bottom of the stairs while she's at the top of the stairs. and my dad can drop it off in the veranda and I can just run up and grab it and run back. So I'm just trying to work out ways to keep that relationship.
How has this impacted your family so far, as well as the community at large? Are you able to, have you seen any changes, or have you heard anything with regards to the challenging time globally?
Yes, well, so here on the island, it's, you know, we're isolated. There's the largest Aboriginal population in a space in southeast Queensland. We have a high aged population as well. So the population here is very vulnerable, and it's also a place where tourists come. So I know that the concern is to protect the island, and there has been a call to stop tourists from coming over, to cancel the Easter holidays to protect this community. I made a decision on Saturday before others around me to shut my studio, because I am open every day. The shop's a shared space. So, you know, this space is where I kind of earn my bread and butter. It's I have the studio at the back. I'm working on commissions and larger projects, so that will sustain me. But to make a decision together with the other 3 that we can't encourage visitors. We need to protect ourselves, which will then protect our families.
And so I guess during this particular time in life where it's a little bit harder for us to physically come into different spaces and to see the work in person, What does that mean for yourself as well as your fellow artists in that space, to continually connect with our peers and show them the artistry that you're doing? What does that look like for all of you?
Well, can I introduce you to my friend Julie? Julie, would you like to say a quick hello? So Julie's a photographer, and
Hello.
So we've talked about taking our things online a little bit better. I'm still hesitant around that, but in this challenging time, we've got more time now to focus on creating the work that we might not have had time for before. How do we retell our story? And so for something like, say like this with Julie's work, I said, Julie, this morning, that looks like that was taken in mid-May. You know, that's when it's a quiet month. She goes, oh, I think it was taken in May. And it's just the sunlight that you see in that image. By showing more of these images of the island, you're going to give people a sense of that's a beautiful image. When things are settled down, when things are cleared, when we're allowed to move around again, people will want to come and do that gorge walk again.
I guess, what does this look like as a collective? Like, I guess, how can we keep supporting the artists during this difficult time?
You do have to innovate. You have to think about other ways. Can I quickly just talk about Paula? Is that all right? Do you have a second? So,
absolutely.
With Paula, her main income is workshops. So for this space. And so what we've talked about this morning when we were meeting was for Paula to make available her gift vouchers and a set of materials, so the needle, the earring findings, everything that needs to be available to make a set of earrings. Paula will make these kits available, and then she'll do an online one-on-one earring making workshop. So for anyone that's in a position to support artists, this is one way. And I'm sure other artists are coming up with ways to consider each other. That's some of Paula's work here. Broadly, you know, things like this, having a conversation, it's almost like a reminder of what you do, how you do it, and the reason why you do it. And we know that things are going to look different when we come out of it. People always connect through the arts in those difficult times too. You know, art can create a sense of, I don't know, memory, of place, of connection. And that's the sort of stuff that you can hold on to. I think once we get through this, how we shifted, how we altered our practice will be very interesting for a lot of people. I find very difficult to speak beyond my own boundaries. You know, my stories are attached to this island. So for my art, I hope that it will remind people of this place, of the feeling that they have in, that when things are right, they'll want to come back.
Yeah, if the artwork can just kind of give you a bit of normalcy, then that will make you feel better, so you're not getting too overwhelmed with the situation. Do you
have a place where all of your artistry, like all of the work together, comes together? Is there something like that? I wasn't sure.
At the moment, just Facebook and Instagram. I think that's the intention over the next few weeks, is to get some form of website where people can see a snapshot of our work.
Yep. So that'll be the islandartsgallery.com.au.
Sharing that message across, the awareness of that we're here, and even though the doors are closed, that we're still here creating work, and we want people to know that we'll be here when things are settled down.